Hi guys, my name is Aldas and this is F1 Youtubers Decoded.
Hello everyone and welcome back to F1 Youtubers Decoded. This week I'm joined by one of the brightest stars in the F1 community. Aldas only started YouTube in 2018 and already has over 30,000 subscribers. Today we learn more about him, like him moving here from Lithuania, his uni life, and a typical day when he's doing a video. He also reveals a few exclusives about his channel for the future, so make sure you stay tuned for that. He was honest, very polite to talk to, and it was an absolute honour for me to interview him. But that's enough from me. Let's hear from the man himself about his rise to fame on YouTube. So Aldas, thank you so much for taking your time out to talk to us today. First of all, how are you? Are you feeling okay?
I'm feeling great. I'm really excited about today. I'm excited about this video. I've been looking forward to it for a while for sure.
Yeah, it's been in the works for quite some time. I think we discussed this back in probably about mid-August, I think it was now. So we eventually got around to doing it. So the first thing I want to discuss is something I don't think you've mentioned this on your videos a lot, but for those that don't know, you're Lithuanian.
I am, yeah.
Yes, a lot of people are like, "Oh, your accent sounds a bit like it's." They can't quite tell whereabouts you're from, can't they? It's a bit of a weird one. You've got like a really unique, voice where like if someone was to play me a video of you and I can't see the video like of yourself, I'll go, "That's all that straight away." It's quite unique. So, were you born over there in Lithuania and moved over, or were you born in the UK but your parents are obviously from Lithuania?
So all of my family is born in Lithuania. I was born in 1999 and we moved over here in 2005. So I've gone to school here all my life. Obviously, you talk to people every single day in English. So you I haven't lost Lithuanian. I still know how to talk in Lithuanian, but the accent's gone a little bit. And most people just think I'm English, to be honest, until I say my name and they're like, "Oh, where's that from?" So yeah, I've been pretty much here all my life. So yeah.
Yeah, because it's got you've got like that that like kind of it's almost like a fluent British accent as well. It is, like I said, it is pretty good. So like you can speak Lithuanian, of course, with you being from Lithuania. I think you've done it on one of your videos before, but just for a quick one for a bit of fun, do you want to say something in Lithuanian for those who haven't heard you speak that?
I do. Well, first of all, I'm so glad that's one of my OG videos, like back in the day when someone asked me in a Q&A, like, can you speak Lithuanian? So thank you for watching that video.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'll say hello, my name is Aldas. So, labas, mano vardas yra Aldas.
There we go.
So
Brilliant. Off the tongue. Nothing rehearsed.
Exactly.
And of course as well, your name Aldas, that's like your actual name, because a lot of people think that it's just a YouTuber name or it's a nickname. Like that is your genuine actual name, isn't it?
It actually is. And do you know what's really funny is that the thing is, it is actually my name, and at the start of every single video I say, "Hi guys, my name is Aldas," and yet I still get so many people in the comments saying, "What's your name?" Like, that is genuinely my name, and it's because I don't know why I called my channel Aldas. It's just I couldn't really think of a name. I didn't want to go with the F1 something, because I think that's kind of taken. Sean has F1 word, Dan has the F1 review, so I just went with my name and just winged it. So there you go.
Best
and
way.
I think it's quite unique. I don't know. I've never
It
met
is.
anyone else named Aldas.
Neither have I. I've never heard anyone called Aldas. I probably will never meet anyone else called Aldas before, or even after this as well. So yes, you've got a very unique name as well. And yes, of course, having a name like that as well, you become quite well known in the F1 community as well, because it's like when you say Aldas, immediately you know who it is. Like if you say like the F1 word, I mean that is like a unique word from Sean, but. Like the F1 word, you're thinking, F1 word, and there's quite a few F1ers out there, but yes, Aldas, very unique. So the country Lithuania, it's not really big in terms of Formula One, but do you think that possibly one day maybe they could host a Grand Prix? Is it Formula One quite popular over there, or is it like quite obscure in the country?
Well, to be honest, growing up, I mean, cars is quite big in Lithuania for sure, but it's a very small country. I mean, the population of London, I forget, is 8 to 12 million, somewhere there. It's maybe in the double digits, so that's just London alone. Lithuania has less than 3 million people, the entire country, so very small.
Yeah.
But definitely a lot of car people over there. But I don't think there's going to be a Formula One race there anytime soon, purely because of stuff like the economy and the fact that there isn't that many people. But no, it's definitely a nice country. I'd love to see a Formula One race there. I'm
sure you
definitely would. Oh yeah, I'd trip it for sure. I'd go and like on a little holiday and go to that Formula One race. That would be a bucket one. But I don't think there's going to be a Formula One race there anytime soon. But again, you never know. You just never know.
Oh, you don't do. I mean, there's always talk of a new Grand Prix somewhere. I mean, we're going to Vietnam. I mean, might be going to Miami. I mean, they're quite, very unique countries, but Vietnam, it's a bit of a strange one. And Azerbaijan as well, you could say that's a country you wouldn't necessarily think of Formula Ones. And I think Lithuania probably falls into that category as well. Of like a really, we're going there for Formula One, and maybe one day we might have a Lithuanian Formula One driver. Who knows? I don't think there's any in the ranks as far as I'm aware.
No, to be honest, like that's the thing. Robert Kubica is like the closest thing to a driver from like that part of the world, and so yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not many Lithuanian racing drivers, to be honest, or at least I haven't seen any. So cars are big over there for sure, but racing is quite expensive, and that country isn't economically the best. So it's very difficult to get into just racing in general. So yeah.
Yeah, well, you never know, do you, with Formula One?
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure that if one does come about, let's say, for example, in the next 15 to 20 years, I'm pretty sure, right, screw all this Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen nonsense. This guy is my driver. He's from my home country, and support him. So let's talk about the next thing. The next big thing rather is YouTube. I do it, you do it. A lot of people do it as well. So I want to talk about, first of all, about your sudden rise in YouTube. Okay, so when I did this with Chazza HD, I was talking about how quite small the Formula One community it is on YouTube. So when you think of like the really big YouTubers in the world of YouTube, like I think I said Jake Paul or Logan Paul or one of them, like on KSI and stuff, like the really big ones. They've got like 15, 20 million, and they got that from more or less overnight. They just shot up. In Formula One, I think the biggest one we have is WTF1. They've only got 420k, I believe, and the actual F1 channel themselves has got like it's actually nearly on 3 million, if I remember correctly, or might be on 3 million now. I'm not too sure. So there's always loads of people to discover, like channels like yourself and other people like that, and of course WTF1. And I also said to him that nobody really shoots up in terms of popularity overnight. It's always a development thing. It roughly takes about 2 or 3 years, roughly, for someone to even get noticed, maybe less, about a year, whether you're a gamer or a vlogger. You, on the other hand, you were quite different in that sense, because you went from 0 to 10,000 in 6 months. You rose very, very quickly. What do you think the reason was behind that?
Well, first of all, I just want to quickly go back to one of the things you mentioned, which is the subscriber count in Formula One YouTube channels. Now, the thing about when you compared it to the likes of KSI, that's a really good one to compare to, because obviously they were FIFA YouTubers, they were footballer YouTubers, and now loads of them have millions of subscribers. I mean, that's, KSI, Road to Shore, all of those guys, they have millions of subscribers, and of course they've been in the game for a long time. But Formula One, the thing about WTF1 is that it's not one person, it's actually a franchise. It's a massive amount of people.
Yes.
And to me, to be honest, only 3 people in the world of Formula One have over 100,000 subscribers, and that's Arrover, Tiamat Marduk, and Chain Bear. I don't know of anyone else that's by themselves. I'm not really counting Nico Rosberg, because that guy has like a production. So I don't know. Can you think of anyone else? 3 guys, to be honest, that have over 100,000 subscribers in Formula One.
No, I don't think so.
So it's
I can't.
Yeah, so it's a very niche community, and I mean, as far as I was absolutely surprised. I'm so thankful, by the way, to absolutely everyone that watches my videos, and I cannot say that enough. And I know, again, it was such a massive surprise, and it really was. 10,000 subscribers in 6 months. I was absolutely shocked. I just started, obviously, Formula One YouTubing just to get my opinion out. I was very opinionated. Again, I answered this question in one of my really early videos. I think it was actually in that 10K video, or maybe one later, that the reason why I started YouTube is because I was talking to myself in my car whilst I was driving about Formula One, and I thought, why just not upload videos instead of just talking to myself like a crazy person? So yeah, the rise has been absolutely unbelievable. I am so thankful. And again, there's some people like Kids Love F1. I know you talk to him quite a bit, and he comments on pretty much most of your videos.
Yeah.
And I remember like he was watching my videos and commented on my videos, and I've been talking to that guy for such a long time. He was here like before 1,000 subscribers, but that wasn't even that long ago. That was exactly a year ago. So it's been crazy. I've worked really hard. There was some very long nights, but again, yeah, thank you so much to just everyone that was watching. It's all down to them.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the sudden rise as well. It was just, yeah, like you say, it was just absolutely crazy. But obviously, it isn't easy at the same time, because a lot of people just see it as 0 to 10,000 or 0 to 50,000 or whatever in a certain length of time. That they don't think of the amount of work that you put into videos and stuff. So how long would you say that you put into, how much time would you put into a video on a rough basis? So like, tell us like a day in the life of a YouTube Aldas. Like, you get up, have your breakfast, then what do you do? Like, in terms, you're going to make a YouTube video, what do you do?
Well, university, first of all, is a big factor in whether I make a YouTube video that day. I've just put out 2 videos. One of them was quite successful, and it was about Renault, so that was a really good one. And I've just put out another video about Ferrari. And the reason why I was able to do those back-to-back videos is because I didn't have university Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. So that was my video making day. But usually, let's say on a day where I don't have university, I usually wake up, and about 11 o'clock I do research and do a bunch of writing and statistics. That takes about an hour or two. I really try and get all my stuff correct, because that's the one thing that my commentary and my videos have evolved since last year, since I started. When I started back in mid 2018, I just winged it. I just went on the mic and just talked, and it was obviously a little bit random, a little bit there and there, and you can tell in those early videos that I'm doing that. But now I've got my notes, so that takes 2 hours. Then it takes about an hour to record after that. Sometimes I write a script, sometimes I don't, and then the editing process takes another 2 or 3 hours. And the reason why, to be honest, it actually isn't that long when you compare especially to like gaming YouTubers, which takes a long time, like the entire day, because obviously I've only got audio and picture, so it's a lot less, but it's all about the quality, it's all about the information that you say, and I put a lot of time into making sure. I have some pretty big opinions. Like my last video, that was a pretty controversial one according to the comments, when I said that Ferrari have no excuses for 2019, but it's not just an opinion. I try to put as much fact and as much research as I can, and just try and make my videos really high quality. There's always stuff that I can improve on, and there's some big changes that are going to come to the channel soon, but yeah, usually it's about 6 hours or 5 hours to make a video.
Yeah, I know what you mean as well, in terms of like, editing gaming wise, because we did a mini series on gaming. I think it was probably about the end of, halfway through 2017. We gave it a go. We had like quite a bit of time on our hands, and it is very time consuming. It is it's extremely time consuming. It is absolutely crazy as well. But like, oh yes, and what you're saying there about just because I think a lot of some people might look at your videos or look at someone else's videos and go, well, it's just audio and pictures. What's the big deal about that? But it's all about the information. You've got to give across the right facts and stuff, like, like, okay, Lewis Hamilton is a 5-time world champion. Little things like that. You might say a 4-time world champion. They might go, oh, no, he's a 5-time world champion. Or you might say he's a 6-time world champion. He's like, no, he's a 5. Or he's going to be 6. But, let's say, like, this is like a few years ago and all that. But, like, you have to deliver, you have to research the topic, certainly, with, with what you know, of course, because otherwise you will get heavily criticised as well. And, obviously you might not be able to rise as fast as what you did as well, and other people like that. So,
But the one thing I do just quickly want to say is that if there are any YouTubers, everyone makes mistakes. And even in my last video, the Ferrari video, I said that Charles Leclerc in Bahrain retired because it was a reliability issue. And straight away, about 10-20 seconds into me uploading that video, someone mentioned that he actually finished 3rd. So I made a mistake there, but I just pinned that comment and just said, yeah, I was, for some reason I made the mistake. So yeah, hats off. They always know. The fans always know.
They always pick it up, don't they, as well? The F1 community.
And it's good for them, by the way. Yeah, it's good that they do.
Oh yeah, because like not only are they watching your video, they're also listening to you as well. So they've come to you to to hear your opinion as well. And then if you do make a mistake, it's like immediately they pick it up on that. Some people will see that as like, I made a mistake, but really it should be like oh well, you've watched the video, fair enough. You've trusted me in the information that I've came across. I've made a mistake. You've told me about it. You weren't like a bit of an arse about it, because some people can be. It's like, oh, you don't know anything. It's like, just one mistake, guy. Come on, really. But like, oh yeah, I think like, certainly if you will make mistakes. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a guy with 10 subscribers or if you're, you know, whoever with 100,000 subscribers or yourself with 34k. Or, you know, it's like it's you've got to be, well, you do have to give across the right information. But of course, if you do make a mistake, then you just go really right. Okay, brush it off. Fair enough. I'll do better next time. So just on the last thing as well on YouTube as well. So what video would you pinpoint as like the video that just was like the video that took off your channel, that you put a video out and that video was like you know, it just just went absolutely crazy. Because I think you did a video about Ferrari that got about 41k views, I think. And then the video that I think I came across you with first was your rise and fall of McLaren. I think that was the one. I think I was going to say that one, but then I remember seeing that the other Ferrari ones, at which I'm like, oh, actually, which one was it? So I thought I would ask you, which one?
Yeah, so it was, if I can actually give a bit of a journey of my sort of highest views, because when you start YouTube, everything is a milestone. I remember getting to, it actually took me, and people think obviously they see where my channel is now, and again, I cannot stress enough how thankful I am, but when I started YouTube, I remember getting like 10 views on my like 10th video. I didn't even get, I remember it took me like 10 or 15 videos to actually get 10 views, so it you know, it was just such a great milestone. I do remember like the first 100 view video, that was so incredible. But yeah, my really first big video that actually got over 1,000, I was so amazed. I was like, I went to my mum and dad like, look, I've actually got over 1,000 views on this video. Was a Fernando Alonso video of why he would not work at Red Bull or something like that. But yeah, the first really sort of mega video was my Sebastian Vettel video from last year, and why I said that it wasn't just him that was making mistakes, it was also Ferrari as well, and I really did believe that. And yeah, that got about 44,000 views, I remember, and I was actually kind of scared, like, am I ever going to make a video with more views than that? But you just got to keep pushing, you got to keep going, and then I did come up with the rise and fall of McLaren. Now, a lot of people ask me, and I've seen a few questions like, how do you get big, or how do you explode? And I can't actually properly answer that because I got lucky, you know, it's as simple as that. But the one thing I do point it down to is trying to make something that no one has made before, because the Formula One community on YouTube especially is very niche. We're a very tight community. There's not actually that many of us, as I said, only 3 single people that have over 100,000 subscribers compared to like all the tens and millions that like football YouTubers have. So we're a very tight community, but it's just making content that's different to everyone else, and no one made a video like the rise and fall of McLaren, or I think I put the fall of McLaren, of course, at the time. So yeah, that was a really big video for me, and it was a video that I want. And the funny thing about that video, actually, I filmed that in my aunt's kitchen, like between lectures. That's how I was grinding YouTube back then. Like, I remember I had like a 3-hour gap between my lectures. I came back to my aunt's flat, recorded that audio there just completely off the fly, didn't even have any notes, I don't think, at the time, and yeah, just posted it out. And of course part 2 and part 3 came along. So yeah, that was the thing that absolutely exploded me. And I mean, I cannot actually just believe how it took off, because there was one day where I think I got over like 2,000 subscribers in a day from one of those videos, and it's just, again, I was absolutely stunned. I was running around like a headless chicken, just absolutely, again, so thankful to everyone who watched that. And yeah, that was a really big video, the rise and fall of McLaren, and then, or the fall of McLaren, the downfall, that's it. I even forgot my own series name, the downfall of McLaren, that's it. It's because I've done so many now, and I've done Ferrari, I've done Williams, but you can tell from that early video, especially the McLaren, the Williams ones, my commentary is a little bit stuttery. My voice is a little bit like, yeah, you know, yeah, for McLaren, this and that. You can kind of hear me a little bit down. So yeah, I'm proud of those videos, but at the same time, I can't watch them for too long, because I think I've grown hopefully quite a bit since then. But that was the #1 video, and for anyone that, you know, wants to explode on YouTube, the only advice I can give is make content that you love and make unique content that no one has done before.
Yeah, good advice as well. Yeah, I think a lot of people are like asking for those kind of guidance as well. It's like, how do you get like so big on YouTube? It's like you said, it's just basically just think of something very unique, and then just see how it goes. But if it doesn't work, just keep trying. Nothing can work. Nothing's really going to work there and then, is it? You've got to. If it doesn't work the first time, try again the next time. If it doesn't work the next time, try again the next time. It might take you 6 months. It might take you 3 years. It might even take you even longer. But if you do love it that much and you're committed, then you know, you've got to keep grinding as well on them videos as well. So obviously, yes, you're a very, very popular guy on YouTube as well. You're quite loved as well. Your opinions, you don't really get that much, you know, that kind of criticism as well, I don't believe anywhere, because I do read some of your comments as well when I'm watching your videos.
I don't know. Sometimes, my unfiltered opinions, sometimes they do generate a bit of criticism, but I love it. I love that everyone has this, like, especially to my most recent video, the Ferrari one, and where I said and it was a little bit of a controversial opinion. And I said that Ferrari have no excuses for 2019. It wasn't Mercedes that won it. It was Ferrari that lost it, in my opinion. And I love that it was a bit of a controversial one. Loads of people had different opinions, but yeah, it's always great to hear that.
Oh yeah, as well. I think people do. I think it's also nice that people do give their thoughts, rather than people just go, right, you're wrong about everything, and this is, and like, I'm just gonna, absolutely nail you to the floor or whatever. I'm just gonna criticize you completely as well. And I think I think that also puts a lot of people off YouTube when they first start out. If they say something really controversial, like we did a video about Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, and we asked, is Verstappen better than Hamilton? And that didn't go down well. Trust me. I was like, oh my god! Like, I take criticism just just like a slap on the wrist. Like, all right, fair enough. But some of the comments you were getting, you were just like, what the hell? Like, really? But you just got to brush them aside, or even have a bit of a laugh with them. So let's talk about some things outside of YouTube, outside of Formula One, outside of YouTube, because that's where people know you mainly from. So, what other things do you do besides Formula One in YouTube? And I know that you said that you do university. That's a big thing in your life. So what are you studying at university? And how long have you got left before you graduate?
So I'm studying biomedical science, and I'm in my final year. So this is, again, I keep pushing on YouTube, but this is the final year where I really do have to just get my degree. And my degree is probably going to be June, July, somewhere there. I forget when people graduate. But yeah, I'm in my final year of biomedical science. It's definitely difficult to balance YouTube and university. I remember a big inspiration for me was Arav. I mean, he did, I think, like, it was aerospace or something. So again, a really crazy and intense subject. But he managed to grind it out on YouTube by just organizing everything well. But yeah, it's difficult for sure, and this is going to be a challenging year. But next summer is going to be just full on again, back on YouTube. But it's going to be a challenging year for sure.
And Aravis, I remember Arava, when he got his degree, he kind of took a leap of faith, if you like, and did YouTube full time rather than do his degree. And he says that his is like a safety net, so if something does go wrong with YouTube, he's got that to fall back on. Do you see it like that, or do you actually want to pursue something in your degree?
Well, I'm in the really fortunate position where, and again, it's just all down to the incredible people that watch my videos, the incredible community, that I actually do earn a bit of money from YouTube, which is just incredible. I never thought that I'd ever earn money off YouTube. I do set really high goals. I mean, I remember when I started YouTube, I thought, do you know what about if I go for 1,000 subscribers within a year? That'd be crazy, but maybe it won't happen. But it just happened all so quick, and I was able to earn a little bit of money, and I was able to pay for my car insurance from YouTube, which was just ridiculous. So that was the best thing ever. I know, right? When you can pay for your car through YouTube, that's just amazing. And I can pay all my diesel through YouTube as well. So I'm in that fortunate position, and looking at the numbers, if I really did want to go full-time YouTube or try it for a year, I definitely could. And I know exactly what I want to do for the next 1 or 2 years, and that is definitely try YouTube full-time with new content. And this is a bit of an exclusive, there's also a brand new channel that's coming out completely separate to Formula One. This is a bit of an exclusive, but yeah, I'm definitely excited to launch that.
Oh, you've heard it here first. A new Aldas channel is on your way. Can't wait to see what that channel is all about. And another thing as well, I noticed that you post a lot of Instagram stories, and you play a lot of poker. Are you a fan of?
Yeah.
Are you a fan of poker, like playing it and following it as like is it a sport? Would you call it a sport?
Yeah, well, it's very mental and very strategic. It's maths quite a lot. It takes a lot of maths. It's reading people. And I've got when we talk about people having hobbies, my hobbies are so far and wide. It's crazy. Like, I like sport. I love basketball, football as well. I love playing pool with my friends, and snooker as well. I'm a big snooker fan. And then I have poker as well. I'm a big poker fan. If anyone has ever heard of someone called Phil Ivey or Daniel Negreanu or Phil Hellmuth, there's some famous poker players. And I love all of those things. Those are my really big hobbies. But yeah, I am a big poker fan. I just had a poker game actually a couple nights ago with one of my
I seen it.
Yeah, with one of my uni friends. Some of his Bulgarian mates came down and they were like, "Are you playing for money?" And we were like, "No, are you joking me?" But no, I'm never the gambling person. I'd never gamble my money though.
Oh no, no, you've got to be sensible, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, just going back as well. What you said about you're a big snooker fan. I remember during the snooker world championships, you were posting a lot of things about Ronnie O'Sullivan, sorry. And actually, personally as well, I'm a snooker fan as well. I used to hate saying it because it's not a sport that it's like a very high energetic sport, is it? It's just kind of two lads potting some balls on a table. And you can't even like cough in the arena as well. So like,
Yeah.
it's not. So like, I used to always hate saying it when I was younger. But yeah, I'm beside the Formula One as well. Like, I'm a big snooker fan as well, and you're like a Ronnie O'Sullivan fan. Very unlucky that you lost to that young kid. What was he called?
My Jing or something like that. It was something, yeah. This
Something
Chinese
like that. It was a
snooker player.
really young lad, wasn't he? How long have you followed the sport, snooker?
So I remember exactly the first tournament I ever watched, and it was the 2018 Masters, which happened I think in February or January, so early 2018, and that's when I started watching snooker. Big Ronnie O'Sullivan fan. In fact, snooker is it's so difficult. I literally actually played snooker a few days ago as well at my local sort of snooker and pool club, and it's for anyone that thinks it's easy, for anyone that thinks that it's just completely like just two guys, potting balls into pockets. Go and try snooker, as in the real snooker tables. It is unbelievably hard. I could not pot any more than three balls in a row. It's that difficult. So yeah, it's really amazing to watch. I'm a huge Ronnie O'Sullivan fan, but the only thing is that I actually don't watch any other games most of the time other than the Ronnie O'Sullivan game. So I'm that guy. But yeah, I love snooker. It's such a challenging sport, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is such an interesting character because he's so naturally gifted. In my opinion, he is the best snooker player of all time. But off the table, he is so controversial. I mean, if people think Lewis Hamilton has some controversial opinions in Formula One, Ronnie O'Sullivan is on a different planet. So yeah, but he's a bit of an anti-hero, which I kind of love. I love that it's crazy that all like the biggest sporting people are so different to everyone else. Like Lewis Hamilton is so different to all the other drivers. Ronnie O'Sullivan is so different to all the other snooker players, and that is kind of something I like.
Yeah, I'm similar to you as well. I'm a big O'Sullivan fan. I remember watching him, growing up. When I was just casually watching it, I think my granddad used to watch it. I used to be there with him watching the snooker. The same way I got into Formula One, actually, which was weird enough. And I remember watching one of your other videos as well. Because the thing about doing this interview is that I'm trying to think of other questions that you haven't been asked because you've done a lot of Q&As. I think you've done about 4 or 5, I believe. I could be wrong with that, but. And I've watched quite a few of them because I'm like, I want to know this guy. I really like this guy, this YouTuber. And
Thank
it was
you.
all going so well. No problem. It was all going so well until I found out that you're an Everton supporter.
Oh no! Oh yeah.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong.
By the way, guys, we're recording this during the Liverpool Man U game, so why don't I just go and check the score right now? Because I know what the score was at half time. So we'll see.
I know the score. And as well, as well on the subject of that, yes, we're recording this. I think this is the week before the Mexican Grand Prix. For anyone that's listened to this afterwards or a couple of weeks after this has been released, and your boys Everton beat West Ham 2-0 on Saturday, so good result. He's needed it, I must say.
What's the Liverpool Man U result? Can you just quickly remind me?
Was it 1-0 United?
No, it was 1-1.
Oh, 1-1. Oh,
So they
right.
stopped your winning streak. Man U, the worst team basically in the Premier League. Let's be honest, they're nowhere near where they need to be. But this is a bit of a football talk now. Yeah, I'm an Everton fan, but well, I'm clinching to something because let's be honest, Liverpool are absolutely mega this season. They're crazy.
They are really, really good, I must say. I think, to be
Yeah.
fair, I think I want to say the title can be theirs and it should be theirs.
As a Liverpool fan, you never say that until it happens because you would just jinx
Yeah,
it.
yeah, oh, absolutely. I think Liverpool is like the Premier League version of Leeds. I think I've always compared those two clubs in terms of like it's been so long since I've had success. I mean, Leeds have went through a lot worse things than Liverpool in recent years, but it's like the past 13, 14 years they've been trying to get back into the Premier League and they get
Yeah.
like the foot in the door and then like they just slip and that's it. I mean, quite coincidence. Bear in mind that we're talking about Liverpool there about slipping as well, but I'm not that kind of fan. Have you been an Everton fan all your life, or it was just like one of those things where like you might have been at a game at an Everton game, you just thought, yeah, Everton's my team. And do you follow football quite closely, or are you just like a casual fan?
So in terms of, I'm a really casual football fan, and actually I don't watch it as much anymore. I've kind of watched a few games, but I'm just
Yeah.
so busy at the moment. It's so difficult to watch, especially like some football games. But I catch the results. In terms of why I'm an Everton fan now, this is actually a pretty funny and kind of sad story, to be fair. None of my family like football. None of my parents have ever watched football. My dad kind of hates it even. I've never even like been to an Everton game. I've been to a few local football games, but the reason why I started supporting Everton is when I started watching football and playing FIFA back in 2014. Everton was just the team that for some reason I played with on like Ultimate Team and stuff with like their players and Lukaku back in the day, and I just thought, yeah, why not?
Right.
I'll support Everton. So that is the sad story of why I'm supporting Everton, just because Lukaku played for Everton in like 2014, and I used his player on Ultimate Team, and I just thought, yeah, I'll support them from now on. And yeah, now I'm an actual Everton supporter.
You're a very loyal Everton supporter, aren't you?
That started from FIFA 14. I mean, wow.
Exactly. To be fair, it could be worse. It could be a City supporter because they're doing well. It could be a Liverpool supporter as well, but let's not talk about them as well. Well, I'm a Newcastle United supporter. I'm from the area. I'm trying to think. Have we played you this season? I don't think we have.
No, not yet.
I don't know. But anyways, if Everton are ever playing Newcastle, get yourself up the northeast. We'll show you some proper football fans. Well, not at the moment actually, because our club's in a bit of a mess at the moment. And just the last thing as well about your personal life as well. So yeah, like what other things do you follow? Are you into music? Do you follow any music? If so, what's that your favorite genre?
So I'm a really big fan of American hip hop. So I'm really big into my music actually, and just American hip hop, to be honest. Anything, some chart stuff as well, but stuff like Travis Scott, Drake. I mean, that's kind of like. Obviously, these are the artists that people know, but maybe some people that don't know as many these sort of maybe these artists that people don't know is a guy called Frank Ocean. Big fan of him as well, but mostly American hip hop, American music, American R&B, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen some of your Instagram posts as well, where you're posting a lot of like, oh, this guy, I'm listening to this guy and stuff, and I'm just like, I've never heard of him at all. Because I don't follow like American music as well. But Lyle does actually. I think he follows a lot of American music. So that would have been a good conversation if he was here. Fortunately, he's not. So let's
For next time, maybe.
For next time. So let's go back to the wonderful world of Formula One, because that's what we're here for at the end of the day. You do your videos about Formula One, I do my videos about Formula One, everyone else is watching this because they want to know about you, and of course they want to know your story about Formula One. So they might already know this, I'm pretty sure you've explained this, but for those who haven't, how did you get into Formula One?
So I literally, to be honest, I've just been a fan of cars all my life. Like, I remember the first ever episode of Top Gear I ever watched, and it was like back in 2006, and I've always been into cars, and I started kind of watching a few like random races in 2010 and 2011, but I don't actually remember them. The first season I remember that I ever watched properly was 2012, and then I actually, like some years ago, I actually worked sort of backwards and rewatched the entire 2011 season, rewatched the entire 2010 season, 2009, 2008, but the first proper season I ever watched was 2012. I remember the Australian Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton on pole, Jenson Button jumped him at the beginning of the race and won it. So I never forget my first ever race that I properly watched from start to finish. And BBC as well back in the day. That was the best broadcasting team. The entire team was so amazing with Eddie Jordan, obviously David Coulthard as well, and then Jake Humphries, he was also great, and Lee McKenzie. So yeah, that's when I started watching. I just sort of got into Formula One because I like cars, and then just never stopped since then.
I mean, you picked probably the best year to follow Formula One. I think when I was talking to Chaz,
it's been downhill since then.
Exactly, it actually has as well. I keep thinking this. And when I was, again, similar to what I was talking about with Chaz HD, he also said that he followed it. 2011 was a bit like, you watched a couple of races there, but 2012 was his big year as well, same like yours, and it was just an incredible season, wasn't it, from start to finish? You had 7 different winners from the first 7 Grand Prix. I mean, just haven't had that much like competitiveness in such a long time. Like,
well, that's because the Mercedes monster is just unstoppable at the moment.
It's crazy. I mean, and even then we were living through the Red Bull Vettel dominant era, and even 2012, like towards the end of the year, they kind of took over in a way, because like Ferrari, I mean, they were there or thereabouts, but McLaren had the best car. Without a doubt, it was just unreliable. It was really, really quick, but it was really, really unreliable. Even under the Mercedes engine, you could say. But there was all sorts of problems as well with that. Am I correct in saying that you did a video about that? Was it you that did it when you looked in McLaren?
Yeah, I think 2012. I did the part 1 of the downfall of McLaren was I think the downfall of McLaren, they've gone back up on the rise. Of course, 2019 has been a very good year, but let's go back a year with them and Fernando Alonso right at the bottom of the field. I said that the downfall of McLaren began in 2012 because that was the season where they had the car, they had the drivers. Jenson Button at the start of the season wasn't quite on Lewis Hamilton's level, but Lewis should have won that championship in 2012 if McLaren were as efficient as Mercedes are now. They had the car, but they had problems with reliability. Lewis losing 2 races in Abu Dhabi and Singapore due to reliability when he was leading, and there was pit stop issues. There was issues behind the drivers that we won't know about, but there was certain issues, and there's a very good reason why Lewis left that team and why he did not win that championship. And that's when I think the downfall started. They threw away the 2012 championship, and yeah, that was part one of the downfall of McLaren. So I need to get it right.
Do you think McLaren would ever get back to winning ways? And if so, how long would you think?
Absolutely, they'll come back. They've got quality drivers. McLaren will never have a problem bringing drivers in. Even if they're at the bottom of the field, they always will have the brand to bring drivers in. And then they have a great bunch of people back at Woking. And when do I think they're going to go back to the top? Well, it won't happen. What do you mean, like just winning races or championships?
We'll say race wins.
Okay, well, it could happen next year maybe, but I'm going to go on a safe bet and say no. I think probably 2022 or 2021 maybe. Next year is going to be a bit of a stretch because the regulations are going to stay the same, and I think Mercedes and Ferrari and Red Bull might extend their advantage over the midfield, so we'll see how that happens. But in 2021, with the new rule changes, I think the big teams are going to be at a massive advantage. So I think it will be in 2022 maybe where I think McLaren will take their first win. But again, we don't know because it's going to be crazy with the new rule changes, if they ever come, by the way, at this rate.
Oh, yes. I mean, to be fair, it's worse than Brexit, isn't it? It's mental, isn't it? And like, I think I mean, I'm a McLaren fan, and I can't see us doing any better in 2020. But I mean, 2019 has been a cracking year, and everyone's talking about how McLaren will be back on the podium next season, and everyone's jumping the gun. But if you remember, in 2018, we all said this about Renault. Renault was the fourth best team on the grid. I said they'll be knocking on the door for podiums. They'll be the team to challenge the top 3, to end from the top 3 to the top 4, and that didn't work. They went backwards, not forwards, and I'm hoping McLaren do stay there, like stay where they are now in 4th place and not go backwards, or even worse, like 2015, 2017 days where it's just unreliable problems all over. And I mean, the engine deal is ending with Renault. Are Renault gonna, hinder McLaren's progress? Who knows? You know what Renault are like. I think they were also trying to hinder other. Well, there was rumours of like them fiddling with the engines on other customer teams who were around them. I think it was 2017, I believe, or even 2016 when they came back into the sport as a constructor. So one thing we should also talk about is your Silverstone 2019, your first ever Grand Prix you attended.
Yep.
As like you said, you've been following F1 since 2012. You've watched loads of races, and then you've started YouTube, and then you go to Silverstone. Let's talk about your experience at Silverstone and what you actually thought of it.
Well, first of all, the only reason actually I was even able to go to Silverstone was once again because of YouTube. So it's just incredible, like how YouTube has gone and it's kind of transpired into me actually being able to go to my first ever Grand Prix, because the job I had before, because I was actually able to quit my sort of weekend job during university because I was earning like £300 a month, and it was just so difficult with like car and everything to even try to go to a Grand Prix. So my first Grand Prix was absolutely incredible. I definitely wanted to record as much as I could, and of course, not just the Formula One race. I wanted to sort of give a fan's perspective. What's outside of the Grand Prix? What is there to do? Some of the cars that were there as well, and I ran into some pretty interesting people like yourself. So yeah.
Yes, you did as well. Yeah. I think we were walking in the car park. I seen you doing your vlog, and I was just like, Is that Aldas? Because I seen you wear you've got like a Mercedes 2010 jacket, which just proves that you're not just Mercedes 2018 repping the 2018 2019 kind of thing. You're all the way back to the very beginning with this merch 2010 jacket. I've seen you wear it in vlogs before. It's like it's a very nice jacket, and I was like, that has to be that is, isn't it? And then I seen you walk past, and I was like, oh my god, it actually is Aldas. So I was just like, I didn't actually want to get your attention because I was just like, Like I don't meet that. Like, I don't really meet people that I watch on either YouTube or TV or following sport. I never meet them, so I never know what to say. So I literally went. All I did was just, oh, that's just at the top of my voice, just in this really weird like, oh, that's like, I didn't know what to say, and I was like, oh no. But then yeah, obviously we met and stuff like. I had about a 15-minute conversation. It was proper nice, I must say. Very nice to meet in person. If no one has met you in person,
Thank you again.
if you ever see an Aldas and you're out and about, whether that's on the streets or at a Grand Prix, go and meet them. Very nice lad. And have you got any plans to go to another Grand Prix in the future, the next season after?
Absolutely, I've got big plans. I want to go Silverstone again for sure, and I would love to road trip it with one of my friends to Monza next year as well. That's definitely, Monza is at the top of my bucket list, but Silverstone for sure. I'm going in 2020. So yeah, plans for next year: Silverstone, and then road trip it to Monza.
Good choice. We went to Monza back in 2017, and oh my word, you will absolutely love it. Trust me.
Yeah.
The one thing I was actually looking forward to, which is a bit weird to say, but you'll understand why, was the end of the race. Now, the reason why I say that is because of one thing only: the Tifosi on that track. It is. I'll repeat what I said with in the last F1 Youtubers Decoded. It's like I've been to some really big events in football. I've been to like my local team. I've been to cup finals. I've been to local derbies. I've been to quite a few games. The atmosphere at those games are incredible, but you can't explain how good the atmosphere is with it. With the Tifosi right in front of you. We were sitting on the start-finish straight. We had a good view of the podium. Hamilton won that year, unfortunately, but even so, they were just. I mean, and Vettel was on the podium as well that day, and they went ballistic. I can't imagine how it would have been this year when Charles Leclerc took victory there. I just can't imagine what it would have been like. So trust me, you will absolutely love it. It's a brilliant race, brilliant track, loads of history. Definitely go and check out the old banking section on the old part of the track. Highly recommend going there. We went there. It's extremely steep. I can't stress how steep it is, but
and really banked apparently, like really banked.
Oh, it's absolutely, again, it's just mental. I can't describe it enough, but it's absolutely crazy. And just seeing F1 history itself, I mean, yeah, I'll show you about Monza. It is really good. So
you're making me jealous.
Yeah, you will love it. So what is your favorite Grand Prix you've watched? I'm not going to take Silverstone 2019 because you were there. On the telly, what would you say where you've went, I could watch that race again, no problem?
That's a really tricky question. I mean, the one Grand Prix certainly I'll throw into the mix is Germany this year. I really do genuinely. I was stunned by that Grand Prix. I think it's a little bit underrated, but maybe the thing is I actually didn't watch Canada 2011 live. I only watched it obviously repeat, so it's not the same emotion. But that has to be in the top three. I'm not going to I'm going to give you a top three, but it's in absolutely no particular order because I just can't split them. So I'm going to go 2019 Germany, 2011 Canada, and 2012 Brazil. The title decided between Vettel and Alonso. That was a emotional roller coaster. Vettel spinning at the start, Alonso being in prime position, changeable conditions, Vettel coming into the pits multiple times, and then right at the end, Vettel finally winning the title. I actually wanted Alonso to win because I felt that he squeezed absolutely every single last point out of that Ferrari, and just that Ferrari was so terrible. And people think Max Verstappen has a bad car now. Yeah, that Ferrari is on a different level of how bad it was, especially when you look at, they improved it in the second part of the season, but if you go to the Wikipedia page for 2012, look at Felipe Massa's results in a Ferrari at the start of 2012. It is ridiculous. He's getting like 6th and 7th places, and Alonso's winning races, so I kind of thought he deserved to win it. But yes, back to the original point. Sorry, I'm complete tangent, but yeah, back to the original point. My three favorite races in no particular order is Germany this year, Canada 2011, and Brazil 2012.
Good choices. So we're going to go on to some fan questions. All right, I haven't got a lot of questions from a lot of people, but I have asked one or two like other questions. I think someone posted 8 questions, someone posted 6 questions, and they just said just pick your questions. So yeah. So I've just picked some I've just picked some that I haven't asked or we haven't discussed. So our kids love F1. We also talked about him earlier in the video. He comes in and says, "How are you able to balance YouTube and studies?" And he also says, "Would you upload more if you had the time?"
Well, number one, it's very difficult because again, I'm in my final year at uni and it's the hardest, but it's all about organization. In an ideal world, I'd love to post 5 videos a week, maybe 6, but the max I can do is 3 or 4 and that's on a race weekend, like maybe 4 videos during a week. But it's all about organization, it's all about planning, and I'm still at the start of the year, so it's not even as bad now. But when it gets towards the end, I really am gonna have to. The hard answer is it's kind of sacrifice a little bit of your social life. It depends how much I want to dedicate to YouTube, and I'm really dedicated to YouTube because I just love what I do. I love it so much. So it's kind of not having as much of a social life and just focusing on learning and exams and YouTube, and just again organizing what you need to do and when, having a schedule. And yeah, that's the only thing I can really say. It's about prioritizing what's more important. Is it your social life? Is it uni work? Or is it YouTube? For me, it's the other two. It's YouTube and uni work. So yeah, it's difficult, but again, that's how it is really.
Yeah. His next question is, are you happy with the direction F1 is going? What changes would you make?
Wow, I mean, that could be like a video by itself. I'm actually not, well, I'm happy in the direction Formula One is going because I don't want to be a negative person that says Formula One is dying, Formula One is just, it's going to be dead in a few years, it's going to be electric, it's going to be awful, all of this stuff. I like the direction Formula One is going because they're doing different stuff. Liberty Media, they're trying different things, which I like. Of course, some of it is not working. I don't like some of their tracks that they're bringing in. I'm not sure about the new Miami track. I mean, it looks okay, but I feel like they picked it more for the location than the actual track itself. But we'll see how it goes. There's a bunch of, again, this could be a video by itself, but I think Formula One is doing okay. But there's a lot of things that they need to do. But yeah, I trust Ross Brawn. I'm a big fan of Ross Brawn, and I think he'll get it sorted. And I think in 5 and 6 years' time, Formula One is going to be in a brilliant place. So, yeah.
Yeah, I hope you're right with that. Yes, Ross Brawn, I think when they announced the new kind of infrastructure of the people who will be running the sport, Chase, Sean, and of course Ross, I think when Ross was there, I was like, that was like a sense of relief. Almost like if it was just like Chase and Sean running it, we would have been like, oh, there's no one there with actual experience. But with Ross, he's got 20, 30 years of experience in the sport. So like he's the perfect guy to go, right, I know what the fans want. So hopefully they can get it right. I think there's even talks of Sean Bratchett selling his share and buggering off elsewhere. Again, that was only rumours. I haven't seen anything yet, but that's something I've seen actually quite recently. And his final question is, have your thoughts on Canada 2019 changed?
No. Well, the people won't know, by the way, but you can tell them that I'm wearing a t-shirt right now. What t-shirt am I wearing?
You are wearing a photograph of Sebastian Vettel changing the moment when he changed the little podium, the little like 1, 2, and 3 plate things where you change it from second to first on his car. Very, very funny moment, I must say. I love that moment. You're wearing that t-shirt.
Exactly.
I think that just answers the question for you.
That penalty, especially, the thing is, I get why they gave it. I'm not kind of blaming the stewards on why they gave it because they had the right to because of the rules. But Mario Andretti's tweet, and I forget what he said, but penalties should be given for obvious acts of not following the rules and endangering other drivers. Vettel made an honest mistake, and at that point, did the FIA really need to give that penalty? And I don't think they did. And now we've seen The thing about 2019 is, and I will say this is technically a positive, is that now the stewards are getting more lenient, but it just kind of leaves a bit of a sour taste because there's now so much inconsistency where if you look what Charles Leclerc did in Monza, that was, I mean, to me, I love Charles Leclerc. I'm a huge fan of Leclerc, but that was over the line. How you can get a black and white flag, then cut the corner, then swerve over Lewis Hamilton that was over the line. And now it looks like there's a bit of inconsistency because Vettel got that penalty in Canada, and to me it was outrageous at the time. Again, I don't blame the stewards. I don't want to say a bad thing about them because they have a very hard job, but it just really frustrated me because, like Mario Andretti said, he didn't do it on purpose, and at that point, with racing going on, great racing between Lewis Hamilton and Vettel, do you need to kill the action by giving a penalty? I wasn't sure, to be honest. And again, I'll reiterate, I don't blame the stewards, but I do not agree with the penalty.
Yeah, it was a big moment. It's certainly a moment that we'll be talking about for many years to come. And I can't wait for when we actually go back to Canada next season, because that'll be certainly on the agenda as well. So the next lot of questions comes in from F1 Fanatics Mike. Again, he's actually quite a close friend of ours.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to their channel. Great channel. Love them.
F1 Fanatics, absolutely, yeah. Really good. Really good lads, really good channel. The first question he asked was actually something that we discussed upon about like what made you start YouTube and everything, and like were you surprised how quickly it took off. So I'm going to move on to the next question, which is the next two questions, which is about the younger ranks in Formula One. He says, do you watch F3? If so, do you believe Robert Schwartzman will be in F1 by 2021?
Well, I watch Formula 2 like as much as I can, but not as much as I should. And I don't watch Formula 3 at all, but I do look at the results. I do look at the odd highlight, and I do know Robert Schwartzman. I've watched him for a while, and he's impressive. He reminds me of George Russell a little bit. He's very calm, very mature for his age, and I do think he has a very good shot of getting to Formula 1, but it's just so difficult to get him, but I think he definitely can make it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. I thought that picture of him and Charles Leclerc was so cool in Russia. So yeah, I think he can get to Formula 1, but it's kind of a lottery at what he does in Formula 2.
And then the next question is about Formula 2, and it is, will Mick Schumacher finally get that F2 title next season? Because he normally does well in his second season in any kind of sport he's in. So do you think he'll get the F2 title next season?
Well, again, I mean that's a very difficult question to answer. I don't know if he will. I mean, obviously the best hopefully he will for him. The one thing I do want to say about Mick Schumacher is I do want to see him in Formula One. I'd love to see him at Alfa Romeo and maybe one day at Ferrari, but the big thing with me is that I don't want him to be spoon-fed into Formula One. I want him to earn that drive. If he's going to get into Formula One in 2021, I want him to, at the very least, finish in the top 3 next year. And if he doesn't, he shouldn't be to Formula One. Mick Schumacher, and I've said this all the time, I'm a Mick Schumacher fan. I was never actually a massive Michael Schumacher fan. I was a big Nico Rosberg fan, actually, when they were teammates, actually, at Mercedes. But for some reason, I'm a big Mick Schumacher fan. And I do want to see him in F1, but again, I'll reiterate, I don't want him to be given the Formula 1 drive just because he's a Schumacher. I want him to earn it, and I've said that all the time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, whether he can win the title. I think hopefully he does that thing where he does like bounce back in the second season and just do so much better. He's already got a win under his belt, but he wasn't the most impressive rookie, that's for sure. I mean, Huan Yu Zhu was very good. Obviously, Antoine Hubert, it's a massive shame what happened to him and really sad, but he was also incredible. So Mick Schumacher already wasn't the best rookie. So yeah, it's going to be tight, but at the very least, I want him, and I'm hoping that he's going to finish in the top 3.
He's certainly got a lot of work to do with Mick Schumacher, and I've even said that about. Like his name is like a brand himself, so like if he was to go with like Alfa Romeo or a Haas, commercially it would be very successful for that team because you've got Schumacher in that team as well. And if he does get to Formula One, which team do you think he would go with?
I think he's going to go the Charles Leclerc route because Formula One is growing into a hierarchy in terms of the teams, and the big teams having smaller teams kind of do a little, with their younger drivers, and it's beginning to have this. And I think we might actually edge closer to a bit of a worrying time in Formula One where we're going to have factions in Formula One, maybe not helping the other one, like all the Red Bull junior drivers and doing stuff to the Mercedes guys on track, maybe stopping them when there's a real championship fight. So that's going to be dangerous, but we're going to see how that's going to go. But in terms of Mick Schumacher, I think he's going to go the Charles Leclerc route, Alfa Romeo, and then maybe one day Ferrari. But I'll reiterate, and I keep saying this, he needs to earn it. I do not want him to be just given that seat because he's a Schumacher.
Yeah, very true. I've even said before about I'm pleased that he has went from like F4 up the ranks. I think he did Italian F4, Euro F4, and then he did F3, and then now he's doing F2. I mean, he didn't do FIA F3, he did the Euro F3 not last season, the season before. But like normally, like with Verstappen, he kind of came on the scene, did a bit of F3, then went straight into F1. Same with Daniel Kvyat, he skipped F2 for F1, and Bottas, I believe, he did the same thing. So like Schumacher's doing it properly. So I'm pleased that he's actually doing it. That he hasn't been stuck straight into an F1 car because he's a Schumacher. He's doing it properly. He needs to earn it like everybody else. So I'm pleased he does that. So the future for Aldas. Where do you see your channel, or where do you want your channel to be in the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years? Where do you want to be?
Wow, well, 5 to 10 years, that's a very long time. I've no clue where it's going to be in 5 to 10. I've got a lot of stuff planned. I'm a very ambitious person. I set high goals and I try to do as best as I can and just have fun with it. I have very big ambitions. I can see YouTube. I'm just so blessed to have so many subscribers. I mean, it's just crazy to have, what am I, 33 something, and really
Yeah.
good views as well. And I don't want to waste it. There's big things coming to the channel. There's new content coming to the channel. I can give a few exclusives. Like I said, there's a brand new channel that's nothing to do with Formula One, but I'm massively passionate about it, and it's going to be a car channel and real life content because there's big stuff happening next year and a bit of a vlog channel. So again, massive exclusive there. But in terms of the F1 channel, there's also eventually after I finish uni, I might want to maybe have some gameplay in the channel as well and build like a proper, almost like you see team at Marduk and Arava. They upload almost every single day, and I'd love to get to the point where I can upload real life Formula One videos because that's what my channel is always going to be about. But maybe some Formula One gameplay as well because I've been given some unbelievable opportunities like going to the grid launch and I've really enjoyed
Yes,
it.
yeah.
So there's big,
Yeah, I've seen you go there, yeah.
Yeah, so there's big stuff coming to the channel. I just want to get this year of uni done. I want to do the best I can. I want to get a first. But YouTube is something I'm hugely ambitious over. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, certainly. Don't give up on it. Whatever you do, don't give up on it because you've certainly got a really good base, as I can hear as well, and everyone else. You're very passionate about it. And when I was watching your vlog of Silverstone, the 2 days you did, that's when I noticed you're passionate about cars. Like you would be passing a car, you would go, "Oh, this is the so and so," and I'm like, "Wow!" And then like the next car, it's this and this. Oh, and then I think on one of the video, it wasn't the Porsche 918 because I was aware of that car. That was only 980 made. But I remember you were talking about a car and you said, "Oh, there was only like 100 made," and I'm like, well, "I've never heard of this car. How do you know all this?" It's like that's like another. I should have really included this in the personal item, if I'm honest with you. I think I even said, right, okay, when I interview Aldas, I must talk about cars, and I've left it till like the very last minute to talk about it. So like, yeah, that's like another big passion of yours, isn't it? Cars.
Yeah, again, that new channel, it's going to be all about cars, and my two biggest passions in life are cars and Formula One. So, yeah.
Brilliant combination.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your favourite car? Just a quick. I've just thought of this question on the bounce. What's your favourite car?
So I have three. I don't have a favourite car. I have three favourite supercars of all time because obviously supercars and exotic cars they're always the best. My three favourite of all time is a manual Lamborghini Murcielago LP640. A Lexus LFA and a Porsche Carrera GT. That's my three favourite supercars of all time, and there's in no particular order again.
I'm going to put a bit of pressure on you now. If someone came to you with three keys of them cars, which one would you take?
I'd probably go with the Porsche Carrera GT just because it's the most expensive. But again, I honestly would not mind any of them because then I could probably sell the Porsche Carrera GT and buy a Lamborghini Murcielago LP640 manual and an LFA. So there you go.
There we go.
Cheating out of a question. So
I'll let you have that because you did say that you didn't have a particular favourite, but I thought I'll try and put a bit of pressure on you. So the final question I'm going to ask, like I said, I'm going to ask everyone I interview this question. I want you to build your ultimate Formula One team. So I want 2 drivers, I want a car, your team boss, and maybe a team name for fun.
ooh, when you say car, actually, do you mean like a team or a specific car in Formula One history?
Just like a certain car, so like maybe like the RB6 or the F2004.
Well,
like a car from a certain year.
Yeah, so first of all, let's go. I'll leave the 2 drivers till last. We'll keep a bit of suspense. Team
okay.
boss, it's either Ross Brawn or Toto Wolff. Those are my 2 absolutely. The funny thing about Toto Wolff, by the way, he's got a 100% winning record in Formula One because he started in 2014. So
Incredible.
but Ross Brawn is such an amazing guy. I'm going to go with Ross Brawn. I'm going to go with Ross Brawn. I'm a big fan of him. In terms of the car, it's going to be my favourite car of all time. If anyone's watched my video from way back in the day, my favourite livery and my favourite car of all time is the Renault R26 that Fernando Alonso drove. So that's going to be my car. And my 2 drivers, I'd love to go with someone like Senna or Schumacher, but I never saw them in their prime, so I'd only be basing it off what I've seen in footage. I'm going to go with Lewis Hamilton as my number 1 driver. I think he's the best of my generation, certainly. And in second, I'm probably going to go with the most underrated world champion or double world champion in history, Mika Hakkinen. So yeah, Lewis Hamilton and Mika. I feel like their characters aren't too... they both have big egos on the racetrack, but I think they can work well together, if you know what I mean. Although maybe it's a bit hypocritical of me to say that they're both number one drivers, and we'll see how that team works. But yeah, that's my team: Lewis Hamilton, Mika, the Renault R26, and Ross Brawn.
That is certainly a winning combination. What would your team name be?
Oh, the team
what would
name.
you call it?
Is it too cheeky to just go Aldas Racing or? Do you know
It can be if you want it. It's your team.
Since people know my name, let's go Aldas. No, not Racing actually, because that's a bit generic. Let's just go Aldas. That's it. The Aldas.
Just Aldas.
Exactly.
And here's Aldas taking another 10th consecutive drivers and constructors titles.
Exactly. I mean, it's short, sweet, rolls off the tongue. They won't get it confused with Alpha Tauri or Alfa Romeo. That's for sure.
Oh my god, that's going to be. I'm not looking forward to next season just purely on that fact, because it's going to be. Sorry, not Force India. It's Racing Point. Sorry, it's Alfa Romeo. Sorry, it's Alpha. Oh wait, there. Hang on. It's going to be all over the place next season. So, anyways, that's the end of the interview. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you as well. I'm hoping that everyone listening knows a bit more about you as well, and hope that they enjoy the video as well. And of course, you were all about the future things on your channel as well. The new channel that's coming up. You've got new content on your channel as well. Once university hopefully is out the way, and then you can start the grind. And if anybody hasn't, which I will be surprised, but if they haven't, go and check out Aldas' channel. Go and subscribe. Go and help him out, because he's a really, really good content creator. I'm not just saying that because he's here. Seriously, I'm genuinely mean it. Really, really good content creator. Watch your videos as well. Big fan. And go and follow him, and hopefully enjoy the success with him. Excuse me, bad cough. But anyway, guys, this has been F1 Drivers Decoded. Thank you so much for watching as well. And if you're new around here to our channel, then please subscribe as well. Really, really nice to have you on board. Stay tuned for other videos coming up as well. Go and check out our previous episode where we did it with Chazza HD, and don't forget to check out the rest of the series videos. We've got some other guys coming in. Can't wait for you guys to see that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you later.